Environmental activists who include blocked the UK's power division in London say 22 human beings include been detained for the outcry. The Met Police Force affirmed at low 8 protesters include been arrested. The UK is seen as a lead in policies to bring hothouse gases and will quickly be examining stricter targets. But the protesters say study suggests the opportunity of compliance the world heat growth by a 2C risk limit is fair 1 in 20. The rally locked accession to the offices by lie riveted along on the sidewalk, time several pasted themselves to the doors of the division house. Future protests are planned via the 1 week and the rally trust the social will get them severely, as they are readily to go to prison for their reason. They comparison themselves in the suffragettes, the Against Apartheid motion, the followers of Gandhi, and the US civilian rights motion, though their critics spot out how these groups didn't include the voice. They include proclaimed Saturday as Death Uprising Day, the day they'll perpetrate acts of civilian defiance in the expect of shaking governments circle the planet in much stronger activity. One of the protesters, Gail Bradbrook, a mom of 2 of Stroud, told, "I wish the earth secured for my family." Changing comes while human beings are readily to perpetrate acts of peace civilian defiance. 50 human beings in prison for a brief period is potential to give the environmental meltdown in the social mind. The at first massive meet of the organization recent monthly drew 1,000 human beings to Westminster and locked roads for several hours. Down there were 15 arrests. The organizers urge how the 1 week's actions will be non-violent. They say if protesters perpetrate an illicit instrument, they must remain on the place to person the police force. A term of the London mayoress's office space wondered informally if the protesters mind how release protesters of loop locks was a nice use of police force period. This facts and figures are readily available if you include the belly to see, but there during Death Uprising and surely in myself, is an propose of amity, guide and reciprocal sorrow. This at first move to creation the changes required for surviving, and to solution any issue in general, is to recognize the extremely horrifying position we are to. The protesters' brief term urge are to revoke which they urge controversial projects they say will in fact growth emissions in the UK, such as the tertiary lane at Heathrow, fracking and the £30 billion roads programme. Their length term urge are to, the aim of persuading several office members to say out may perhaps be attainable. But experts say reaching a null emissions economics by 2025 isn't in any script. It would requirement a coup in transportation, household isolation, power effectiveness, farming, and more than installation up and gathering of generally randomly choose countrymen to get accusation of the large economical change will certainly not be recognized by political community. At the print start of Death Uprising, one youthful female teared up, request if fugitive environment changing was an reasonable selection, while it was offered how their demands were hardly to be welcomed. We include been guessed to solve, among such intolerable nights of observer the sluggish moving car collapse how humanist delicious the planet, or permanent up for the planet we aware is probable. I am lucky to offer up my liberty for the concept of how other can see a superior planet. It told the fail of political community to gear environment collapse and the increasing death meltdown tool this public agreement has been break. Or it is thus not just our order, but our ethical responsibility to circumvent by the government's omission and blatant negligence of responsibility, and to insurgent to protect lifetime himself. In spite uncertainties in forecasts on the bet of heater, lot elder scientists work on ecological changing are truly worried by the enormous risks humanity is take. But can the UK very decarbonize by 2025? 3 professors worried on the question, Peter Coxon, Jim Skee and Piers Forster, did not trust the schedule claimed by the Death Uprising was probable. To the protesters, the Winty question lot. They're using new print to tremble up which they see as community's smugness. They say lack to defend the environment isn't an stock option.